DeBary, Florida is an Orlando suburb with a booming population, but growth sometimes comes at a cost. So today we're going to look at several items to determine if DeBary, Florida is actually a good place to live. Now I'll start with why so many are moving to DeBary, and then I'll address why some of the locals are not so sure that DeBary, Florida is still such a great place to live. Let's jump right in with why DeBary is a good place to live. Well, first, it's DeBary's location. DeBary is located along the St. Johns River about 35 or 40 minutes north of Orlando and about 15 or 20 minutes north of Lake Mary, where so many DeBaryans work. DeBary is about halfway between Mount Dora and New Smyrna and Daytona beaches and right across the river from Sanford. Because of this great location just outside of Orlando, a lot of people are moving to DeBary. They're also fleeing Orlando from its congestion and higher housing costs, not to mention everyone moving here from other states all across the country and the world for that matter. But all this growth is moving up from Orlando, and it's creating a good bit of traffic, which I'll address later in this video. To deal with the traffic, DeBary got itself a station on Sunrail's map back somewhere around 2014. The Sunrail is a commuter rail system that connects DeLand, just north of DeBary, down through Orlando, Kissimmee, and into Point Siena. The Sunrail is a great way to avoid the nightmarish traffic that sometimes happens on I-4. To deal with all these slowdowns, Orlando recently installed express lanes along I-4 to Orlando, and they've also recently completed a whole beltway around Orlando. This beltway does have tolls, but sometimes it's well worth it, especially if you want to ensure a traffic-free ride down to UCF, Orlando International Airport, or Disney, or any other attractions here in Central Florida for that matter. Now, before I get to the number one reason that some say DeBary, Florida is a good place to live, if you're finding value here, then hit that like and the subscribe buttons and click that little notification bell if you'd like more content like this. The number one reason that so many say that DeBary, Florida is a good place to live is the small town feel that's so prevalent here. For many years, DeBary has really been a tight-knit community where they kind of just look out for each other. DeBary's neighbor to the east, Daytona, it was a sort of planned, and built by the Malcolm brothers in the 60s and the 70s for their profit. Sanford to the south is an old merchant city, and today is probably 3 or 4 times the size of DeBary with all sorts of commercial activity, and Orange City to the north, where most of the local businesses are. So DeBary has always just sort of sat quietly, kind of by itself, just, minding its own business, if you will. Of course, DeBary's weather here is fantastic. The summers are hot and humid, but the fall, the spring, and the winters are fantastic, and it's a huge reason that Florida is one of the top moving destinations from the entire United States. This great weather makes DeBary a great place to live with activities like our local springs, we've got the beaches, the St. Johns River, we've got great golf courses, Disney, and all those other Orlando area attractions are right close by. DeBary has been recognized as a trail town too. Numerous trails connect from DeBary all the way over to Edgewater and New Smyrna beaches, northward through DeLand and up into and beyond De Leon Springs, and southward down into Sanford, Winter Park, and Orlando. These multi-use trails are great for walking, cycling, or whatever your fancy is. I'll include a link at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for that, as it's going to tell you quite a bit about what these trails have to offer for DeBary. So far, we've talked about why DeBary, Florida is a good place to live, but some locals around here might say that this video should have been titled, "Was DeBary, Florida a good place to live?" as DeBary is dealing with a lot of pressure to maintain the small town feel that's made DeBary such a great place to live for so many for so long. Now, I spoke earlier of the I-4 traffic, but that traffic has always been present down in the Orlando area, even right across the river in Sanford and Lake Mary, DeBary's southerly neighbors. But it's never been a real thing here in DeBary. Until now. The housing boom has taken a huge toll on DeBary's small town feel. New neighborhoods like Rivington and Riviera Bella are popping up all over the place, kind of just squeezing homes into every piece of vacant land. I'll include links to some videos about them at the end of this video. They've also cleared out a large section of woods for DeBary's downtown district, and this doesn't even account for all the new homes built by the local builders. Sure, the downtown district is fantastic, but it's not making this traffic any better, especially if those from Orlando head north to check out our quaint little small town. This, combined with that I-4 traffic overflowing through DeBary's streets when I-4 stacks up, has forced the city of DeBary to add several traffic lights along 1792. And let me tell you, the locals are not happy about it. I've been selling homes here in the DeBary area for over a decade. Many of my sellers have voiced their displeasure with all this growth, and the buyers moving here are usually moving here for their needs, not that small town feel anymore like they used to. By the way, if you've got real estate needs anywhere in Central Florida, give me a call. It's not that the small town feel is completely gone. It just seems different these days. It wasn't too long ago that a Walmart neighborhood market was built. Before you know it, I bet they're going to have a Chipotle or some other chain here. Can this growth be good? Well, of course it can. And if you haven't been here before, you may still think that DeBary has a small town feel. I would think that DeBary would be one of the safest cities around, but when I did a quick check on crimegrade.org, it noted that DeBary's crime rate is slightly higher, yes higher, than the average U.S. city, and that blew me away. If crime is getting worse, I'm betting that all this growth has something to do with it. Then again, maybe it's just a few instances of crime that skew the data in a town as small as DeBary. Now, I do hear of crime in other cities on the local morning news, but I don't hear too much about it happening here in DeBary. I suppose that every city in Florida is dealing with growing pains. I guess we should expect growth if a city is meeting the needs of its constituents. DeBary has a lot going for it that so many other cities just don't have, and I still love DeBary. Is it an imperfect place? Yes, you bet it is. At the end of the day, it really depends on what you want and what you need to determine if DeBary, Florida is a good place to live. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.